Unfortunately, over half of them living in New York City are living in poverty. 30,000 survivors are living at or below the federal poverty line with limited access to resources to help them put food on the table, pay their rent, and receive their medicine. Which is why so many of us believe that it was important for the city of New York to step up and provide funding to those survivors so that they can live the rest of their lives with dignity. Personally, for me, it was I got involved. People would ask, why is a young Latino from North Brooklyn getting involved in such an issue? You don't represent any survivors, you don't have any Jewish constituency, but growing up in the public education system, I've learned the history of the Holocaust and how much hate was put against this specific race of people just because of pure madness and pure political reason. And that stuck with me for my entire life. As I got older, I visited Poland, went to Auschwitz, I went to Amsterdam, went to Anne Frank's home, and I actually had an opportunity, thanks to the speaker, to go to Israel and visit the memorial there. So this is something that I've carried in my heart my entire life. And when my good friend Meredith Burek approached me last year, she's here today, she told me about the issue that the Holocaust survivors in New York City are facing. And I said, this is the opportunity I can take to actually make a difference in these people's lives. So we worked together to create a strong coalition of members. We got UJA, we got 15 other nonprofits.
Experts have estimated that many of these survivors live alone because many of their family members were wiped out from the Holocaust. The partnership that is demonstrated from this Holocaust Survivor Initiative today is designed to help reduce the emotional and physical effects of social isolation among the seniors here in New York.
It really is an honor to be able to partner with all of you and do this great work.
What a powerful feeling to be in the presence of so many survivors that have overcome challenges in their life of a magnitude that many of us can't even comprehend. But your perseverance really is a testament to the human spirit, and I think to the strength of the Jewish people. And that's something that we should never ever take for granted, especially now at a time when we're witnessing shocking reemergence of anti-Semitism globally, as exemplified horrifically last week by an attack in Amsterdam on 2 survivors in their home who were physically assaulted and subjected to really vile anti-Semitic slurs. And nobody should have to live in fear of that kind of hatred, especially not folks like yourselves and heroic survivors around the world. You deserve to live with dignity. We owe you at least that much. And it really fills me with gratitude that here in New York, thanks to the incredible efforts of the Speaker, of Councilmember Espinal, and the whole Jewish Caucus and our allies in the Council, that we have been able to deliver this important initiative. And how wonderful that we're marking this moment by bringing back to life a Torah scroll, which is itself a survivor, which not only the literal physical scroll, but the sacred text embodied there that for millennia has served as a pillar of strength for the Jewish people. And this is on our mind more than ever this week as the new year approaches.
You chose public service, and you know what? Next to your speaker, mitzvah collector. All of you are mitzvah collector. All my fellow Holocaust survivors, please rise and let's give them a great big hand. As my fellow Holocaust survivors do, every morning and every evening, I say, God bless America. And say it with me, God bless America. Gave us an opportunity to rehabilitate ourselves, to rebuild our lives, to raise our families, children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and to make a contribution to this great city, which is, to this day, the foremost entry port, the land of immigrants. And I stress, the foremost entry port, the land of immigrants. And what is so painful? After liberation, we were decimated, broken in spirit. There was no Israel. Many countries did not take us in. Many of us were in displaced camps. Germany didn't want to go back to our points of origin because what do we go back to? So we can identify with those few refugees today who are trying to gain admission. And I can tell you, when I saw the picture of the refugees stuck at the Hungarian-Austrian border, it reminded me of myself. In 1946, I was stuck for a whole week at that border because the Soviets closed the exit. But we never thought, at least we thought that after the Holocaust, never again. And why is it that we still have to say never again today? Still have to say never again. Why is it that we see and we do the rise of anti-Semitism, as I will mention, xenophobia, persecution of religious minorities, all over the world? As I mentioned to Pope Francis, Christians are being persecuted. Middle East, North Africa. Muslims being persecuted by Buddhists in Asia. Yama. Now we're not immune either. Thanks to the police department in New York City. Every house of worship is protected by police. Whether it's St. Patrick's, or whether it's Parky Synagogue, Temple Emmanuel, or a mosque. What kind of world we live in? 9/11, we call with broken hearts the destruction heaped upon us by those who reject Torah values and the values and beliefs anchored in the teaching of the Torah. Terrorists who destroy houses of worship and precious world monuments like the Temple Balsham in Palmyra. So, every morning, those of us who pray, and I hope all of you do pray, we say, Eitz chaim hi lamachzikim ba. The Torah is a tree of life. And the teachings of the Torah is a tree of life. And those who hold on to it are alive. You see the Holocaust survivors? What kept us going, even in the darkest moments, some of our family members entering the crematorium of Auschwitz, Ani ma'amin b'emunah shlema. I believe, we believe. We haven't given up. With perfect heart, better day. So Torah is a tree of life, and those who uphold it are alive. In God we trust, and upholding His law has sustained us, and will sustain us. Rosh Hashanah, which we're ushering in on Sunday night, is the anniversary of creation of the world. It's not a Jewish festival, such as we celebrate the creation of the world. So we have, each one of us has an interest in keeping this world at peace and safe. And God, listen to this one. I'm sure you've asked that question before. God, where were you when all these terrible things happened? How did you tolerate the suffering? How did you tolerate illness? How do you tolerate the suffering and death of children? Is that a question? Well, the answer is God created the world. that is imperfect. And he gave us a freedom of choice. Otherwise, we would have been puppets. You can show your humanity, or you can be a beast. So man has the capacity to be what I call the best of man or the beast of man. But God, in creating an imperfect world, said to each one of us, not only political leaders, religious leaders, each one of us here, each one of us are placed on earth to help perfect an imperfect world and become a co-partner with the divine in tikkun olam and perfecting the world. That's the mission of every human being during our lifespan on earth.
The third and fourth generation of Holocaust survivors, my great-grandfather was the only member of his family to survive. He passed away, I never met him. However, survivors that surrounded me growing up pushed me in the direction that I went into in my life. Because of survivors of the Holocaust, I moved to Israel. Because of survivors of the Holocaust, I understood the need in fighting for the state of Israel. Because of these people. Now, when I look at my children, I got worried. And I said, who's going to speak to them?
All these blessings, revealed good, spiritual goodness and physical goodness. You and your children. And great-grandchildren. Health. You should have healthy, lots of health.
Tell me how meaningful an event like this is to you.
It's very important to talk about it and to remember, because we're not going to be here too long and then there's no witnesses. So we appreciate that they're doing the right thing, get the people to know and remember.
My wife was smuggled those from the Warsaw Ghetto.
I don't know how much we want.
So how meaningful is an event like this to you?
Very important.
Very, very important. And the guns are ready.
Yes. And what's
People
it?
now, people denying all of this happens, but we are the witnesses.
This November we celebrate about mitzvah for my grand-grandson.
Mazel tov.
And I have already a grand-granddaughter 15 years old.
You went through 4 concentration camps?
Strashof, the first, Gerasdorf, Vienna, Bergen-Belsen, liberated in Theresienstadt. I woke up 3 days after liberation. I was in coma.
Wow.
Not only his wife, his mother survived with 7 kids. This is a mess.
Wow.
Chaz Hashem.